Beautiful. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. You are welcome to the supplier relationship class, the very first class of this module that we are having today. And one thing I want you to bear in mind is that you are doing pretty well, having to be part of this class and be willing to make change. And I can assure you that the changes have started. Okay. And I want you to trust in whatever that you're hearing in this class. First of all, what I'm passing on to you, believe in it. And when you go to study on your own, it will be like an extra. So put your mind in what you're hearing, believe in it, ask questions, ensure that we work together. Don't let me just keep going on without you following. Okay, ask me all the necessary questions to actually break you into your understanding. And this module is one of the straightforward module in this level 4 CIPS diploma. And I believe that
Yes,
you can gain mastery in it and be very successful if you put in your best. And that is that. Okay, we have a purpose for this training, and that is on the completion of it, you will be able to analyze the dynamics of supplier relationship and also examine the processes and procedures for working with stakeholders and appreciate the concept of partnering. Okay, that is partnering, talking about going into strategic relationship with your suppliers in a way that you can benefit from the relationship and they too can benefit from it also. So that is that. Let's move on to the very first chapter, which is the dynamics of relationships in supply chains. That is what we are looking at right now. And we have about 4 sections in it. The very first one is for us to learn how to differentiate between different types of commercial relationships in supply chains. Number 2, appraise portfolio analysis. Appraise portfolio analysis technique to access relationships in supply chains. And 3, identify the competitive forces that impact on relationships in supply chains. Number 4, compare the sources of added value that can be achieved through supply chain relationships. And as you see them, they are highly connected in a way. They have trades-off in certain areas. So we will move on from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. So let's begin.
okay. Yes, let's start.
Okay. Now, in this section, we will take a look at the internal and external relationships. We'll look at the relationship spectrum. We have about 9 kinds of relationship, moving from the adversarial relationship down to the co-destiny. Adversarial relationship is the least among them, where which you don't care about whatever that would come, you don't care about the outcome of your supplier. Yours is just for you to grab your product and grab all the value and go away with it. But the co-destiny is a little bit different, where which you are looking at the supplier like a joint venture, where which if they succeed, you succeed too. That is that both of you are like in a marriage relationship. People who are coming together to grow their kids, they have equal shares. That's how it looks like. So then we'll look at the relationship life cycle, how it evolved in this section. So that is that. Now let's talk about internal suppliers and external suppliers. We have external suppliers and the internal suppliers. You know that the internal suppliers are those that are in-house, those that are in your organization, those that are working with you. They may be in other function of the organization, while the external suppliers are the suppliers outside your own organization. So that is that. So when we use the term supplier, internal supplier, we are making reference to internal workforce, like in-house suppliers. That's what we mean by internal suppliers, which means we are working on using personnel in-house to achieve whatever we are looking at achieving. We're looking at personnel to carry out, internal personnel to carry out the service, maybe internal personnel to create the product. That is that. Okay, now, but for us to come to resolve in using the internal personnel, there must be, first of all, the make or buy decision. When we say make or buy decision, the make is that, are we using internal personnel to create the product or to carry out the service? If we are doing that, we are making it. The decision is for us to make it. If we are also going to be using external personnel to carry out the service or create the product, then we are using external personnel. That is what is called external suppliers. Okay, so that is about that. Then moving on, there are various kind of decisions that we may be making in these two, and we'll also look at the benefits. Also, when you come up with a make or buy decision, you consider the benefit. What am I getting if I'm using internal personnel? Okay, what do I stand to lose if I'm going to use my in-house personnel to create the product or to carry out the service? Then you look at all these things to balance them as against what you would get or what you will lose when you use external suppliers. But you using external supplier, it may be that you're using it because the purchase price is attractive, very much attractive. Okay, is attractive in a way it will save you cost if you're going to use the external suppliers, or the delivery lead time from when you will place the order to when they would supply it is pretty short, shorter than you going in to want to create it yourself. You going in with your own personnel to want to create it. So you look at that also, and also you may be required to consider the quality of the product, the quality of the services. If it is the core business of the external supplier, that's to say that they will have good quality, better than you using your in-house personnel. And look at their inclination in the industry. If they are so much knowledgeable in that terrain, they are the go-to person. You must go to them. If they have huge experience in that area, you may want to use them if you're looking at quality and length of experience. So that's about the two. So these are the things. But now, what if you are the product you want to acquire or the service you want to carry out as your core business? What would you do? You may want to look in-house to develop your team, ensuring that you have everything done in-house. Why? Because of competitive challenges. You don't want to keep your secret outside for people to come and be leveraging on and then be putting you off in the business. So you want to retain all your knowledges, your skills, your expertise in-house. So to be able to be in control of the market, to capture and maintain a high market share. Hello, are you here with me?
Yes, sure.
Okay, are you getting anything?
Yes. Yeah. It's very clear for me. Yeah.
So now, but you also know that if you're contracting external suppliers, they may come in with certain risk that you should be conversant with. What about if they are coming in with delay in delivery? They are not being able to deliver on time. And they have certain human rights issues. And political instability in the terrain. You may not want to go that far. Maybe the potential suppliers in America and they have political instability in America. You wouldn't want to go that way. You may be looking inward and saying that, let me see, I can develop my team in creating it. Okay. Now, as a result of the first point, talking about these using an external supplier, it's actually going to be cost effective. Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And also another benefit you may want to capture is the economies of scale. We talked about economies of scale there. That is,
yes,
you coming in to buy a huge chunk of their supply, their product, and haven't done that. They look at it and wanting to give you discount because you are buying numbers, and they are saying if for every additional product you pay for, outside your first 1,000 would attract 50% alone. Wow, that is beautiful. So they are encouraging you to do more. So economies of scale too, it's part of the benefits you can obtain by buying from an external supplier. So now let's take a look at the relationship spectrum. You know, if you contract a supplier, for instance, to either supply a product or to carry out a service for you, something is happening. Rather, both of you are going into a kind of relationship. True or false?
True.
So CIPS is educating us, telling us that there are 9 different kinds of relationship that does exist, that we must be conversant of them to know which one that best suits the product and the supplier that we have, ensuring that we are going for that which best suits our product or our service, our required product or service. Okay?
Yes.
That is the first thing you must do. You must ensure that you clarify the kind of relationship, you classify it. What kind of relationship are we going into? You have to classify it. All right?
Okay.
And once it's been classified, you now know that, okay, for this relationship, not much is expected of me. So just a little I'm going to be doing in there. There are different kinds of relationship. Since some relationship, you may want to give in more. You may want to share knowledge with your supplier. You may want to share resources with your supplier. Why? Because you hope to get something good from them in the future. But sometimes if you know there's no future ambition, there's no future benefits that can be gotten from there, what do? You look at getting the most you can get now, and you walk away with it. Okay. And I don't know if this does happen in your country. In my own country, it happens so much. Now let's take a look at it. A young girl somewhere could look at a young man, and maybe the young man is coming after her, wanting to have a relationship with her, and she would say, this relationship, I'm not expecting anything good. All I need is just money. Let him buy me jewelry. Let him buy me good clothes. All I need, I just want to take. I don't want to marry this guy. And every time she will keep asking him for money.
Okay.
Yeah, if he's not coming forth with money, she would not be loving him. The portion of the love she gives to him is directly proportional to the amount he's willing to release for her. There are relationships like that. It's true of us.
True, very true.
Yeah. So, but now, having said that, as a young man, a single man wouldn't want to go into such a relationship where he would be extorted. That's not a good relationship to go into. But you, as a growing up girl, would feel that at this point in my life, if I really want to grow, these are the kind of relationship I need. So it depends on the products and services required. There are certain times you are encouraged to stick to such rules. There are certain times you are encouraged to even go in to share your resources with the supplier. There are certain times that you must go in and get as much as you want. You don't care of what comes, even if you're getting everything, and at the end of the day, the supplier is shouting that we are going bankrupt. It does not matter. So now let's take a look at which one is good for which one. Okay. All right. So in the relationship spectrum, now if you look at my slide, it's not pretty clear, from there. But I want to tell you that the very first one is adversarial relationship, and the last one is the co-destiny relationship. Okay, so the adversarial, as we move from left across to right, the importance of the relationship grows. Can you see?
Yes.
It grows. And that is what is expected of us as procurement professional to do. If we step into a relationship and the supplier is looking at us as adversarial, they want to make money from us and abandon us. They don't want to stick with us into the future. They don't care about our future. They don't care about what we make out of our business. So what do? We start coming up with strategy to drag them towards the co-destiny angle. We'll be coming up with style, knowledges. We'll be looking for a way to buy more, to induce them to wanting to stick with us, not to abandon us, not to dump us, okay, and now start looking at others. So vice versa is the way. Even the supplier too, when they look at you and that you don't want something, you don't want to stick with them, you don't want to get anything from them in the future, all you need is just the now. They too will start coming up with strategies on how to serve you better. So you would say, wow, these guys are doing well. Why not I think of sharing some knowledge, some resources with them, and because if I do, I can make more from them in the future. So
Sure.
it's vice versa. So now let's take a look at the very first one. All right. Okay, before that, let's see this. Okay, yeah, I said this will have, like the relationship spectrum will have effect on the negotiation tactics. Can you see that?
Yes.
Because it influences your negotiation. If it is adversarial, what do you do? Adversarial here now is talking about a relationship here which you don't care that much. You're just looking at beating the price down as low as possible. So that is your strategy. You're coming up with a win-lose strategy. You want to make more from the supplier. Whether they lose, you don't care. But as we keep traveling from the adversarial up, we could be changing. So we have three kinds of strategy to look into. We have the win-lose strategy. The win-lose strategy is when the winner gets the biggest part of the pie. Number two is the lose-lose strategy, where both the buyer and the supplier gets a smaller piece of the pie than they wanted. Nobody's getting anything good out of it. At the end of the day, both parties are all losing out.
Okay.
Then the number three is the win-win. Wow, we all are smiling.
Yeah.
You understand? We got as much as we wanted. Our businesses are doing well and we are good. So now, I haven't said that we have 9 kinds of relationship. And I said from the left, which is starting with the adversarial, it is a win-lose relationship. If you're going into the market with an adversarial mindset, you just want to go and grab and beat prices down, and walk out. So adversarial relationship said the outcome of the deal, for example, in terms of price, is more important than maintaining the relationship. You are about prices. You want to beat the price and you don't care about relationship. You don't care about long-term relationship. Now you and the supplier are looking for ways, coming up with strategy to extract maximum value from one another.
Right.
So the gain of the buyer will be the expense of the supplier. People are dragging over a fixed margin, a fixed profit margin. The supplier will be providing non-core product and service. They are providing non-core product and service. You don't care because they are not strategic to you. What they are selling to you does not mean so much to your organization. So whether they are making profit, you don't care if they stay in business or not, because they are not supplying you any core product or service. It's like a one-off buy. You jump into the market and then you buy things one-off. You know, those one-off items you buy that you can buy anywhere. Just like you step into the market, you want to buy salt. Okay, so certain relationships like this are characterized by poor communication. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Lack of trust. Short-term and one-off contract is short-term.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at all this. That's the reason why you are trying to beat the price down, down, down. That is about adversarial. No love for one another.
Okay, clear.
Then arm's length relationship is close to the adversarial relationship. That is the next one, the arm's length relationship. Can you see it? From the name, you would know that arm's length, it means from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So the time that you may want to put in to develop a collaborative relationship may not be justifiable. No need. Why do I now stay, endure, and build the kind of relationship when I'm not even expecting anything good from it? So these are low-level items. For instance, if we are in a construction site, those things like nails that we buy, those low-level things, maybe woods that we may buy, you know, at certain times that are not, we are not buying so much of it. So we get into the market, you can see 15 different shops selling. We just enter anyone and we buy. If the demand there is not reasonable, we are leaving him immediately. We don't care. So the next one is the transactional relationship, just like the name implies, transactional. But it's a little bit different from the adversarial relationship and the arm's length relationship. When we say transactional, you have an increased frequency. Maybe you may likely come again to want to buy the nail from that shop, to want to acquire the salt from the shop. The time and the effort taken is becoming a little bit justifiable because you can now keep coming. But yet the services may still be low, the value may still be low, the risk may still be low. And we characterize this kind of relationship by the markets and that have a number of competing suppliers. There are markets that you can get in. For instance, you want to acquire tiles, like where I live here in my city. Buying tiles is pretty easy because we have more than 200 shops selling tiles, you know, floor tiles, okay? Floor tiles in your house. Do you know them?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So at that level, if I want to acquire tiles, it's going to be transactional. And I think about it, I said it's a market that have number of competing suppliers. This allows the buyer to undertake regular competitive tender process in order to secure the best price. So you may go in there and ask them to give their quotation. And if they're bringing in their quotations, what are you doing? Remember, price is always your drive in this phase. You're looking at the lowest bidder. The best price is what you want to secure. Now, as we keep moving on from adversarial up to arm's length relationship, up to transactional, the next one is the close tactical relationship. Now, can you see the name close tactical? That is to say that the young lady is about to take the young man a little bit serious. The buyer and the supplier, it seems they're going to take a little bit serious. That's that. So in some triad of supply chains, these types of supplier may coordinate the activities of other suppliers. What are we saying? In a close tactical relationship, you could have given a guarantee to a supplier that don't worry, I'm in for you. What you have to do for me is to go into the market and ensure that you are pricing things down for me. Okay, you have knowledge about the market, you have market inclination, you are smart in this terrain. I'm promising you that if you can beat prices down, talk to your guys, let them bring the prices. Okay, in fact, you can even be my buyer, buy for me. I'll give you so and so incentives. Can you see the relationship is becoming serious?
Yes.
You're using one supplier as an advantage to break into the others, because when a supplier that knows the market talks to another supplier, he can cut costs down because he can tell them about their cost structure. I know that for you, this product, these and these are the things that you put money into, and it cannot be more than so and so amount. Why charging this? They would be surprised. He knows it. So he knows all our tricks. So what do? They start bringing prices down for that supply. So this next one on the list is the single source relationships. A single source relationship is on where an organization purchases a product or a service exclusively from one supplier. You're buying from one supplier. This type of relationship should not be confused with what sole source supplier. Now, when we say single source and sole source, it means that in the whole market, in the whole country, is only one supplier that can supply that specification, that can supply that product and carry out that service. A single supplier. That's the sole source. But the single source is that you're just dealing with one supplier. You're not willing to buy from everybody. You're putting your pool of buy together and you're contracting just one supplier. Can't you see that you're becoming serious with that supplier? Now you see the relationship is getting better, right? The relationship the man has with the sister is becoming better now. They are becoming to see the future. So that is about what the buyer has for the supplier. So next on my list is the outsourced relationships. Always listen out to the meaning of the name so you can put them in perspective. Outsourced relationship. Outsourced, can you see the outsourced? That is to say, first of all, it is a practice that was first carried in-house. Now you are sending it outside. It's a product that was first manufactured in-house. You were using your personnel to manufacture the product. And now, maybe because of one or two reasons, you have resolved to want to contract an external supplier. So the main aim behind the outsourcing is to reduce cost. And also particularly staffing overhead. Often a supplier is able to provide a service or manufacture a product at a cheaper cost than the buying organization could itself. Because if you must manufacture yourself, you have to contract the qualified personnel. That is to say, you would have salary to worry about, you would have space to worry about because they must be working somewhere, maybe maintenance of the machines and all those things. And if you do not have knowledges, experiences in those terrain, what would you do? You may want to contract an external supplier. In many cases, contracts are outsourced to a supplier operating in lower cost economies where costs are much lower. That's why you see most American companies running into China, running into some countries in Asia, right?
Yes, you're right.
That is what is happening.
Yeah.
And also some organizations in the UK, and they do that a lot, where we just now start contracting some African personnel and paying them less, allowing them to
Right.
work up online.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But now let's understand, why must you outsource? You would outsource when the business is not your core business, because you want your guys to focus in the core activity. You want them to concentrate. You don't want distractions. So you now start sending some things that are not directly relevant outside. It enables you to focus on your core competency. That's one benefit you would get. Well, you don't need distractions, right? Do you?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, in
No,
the
but you want.
come again?
I said no, but you want to.
Nobody wants to. That is true. Then in the United Kingdom, there is a law that is put in place when you want to outsource. Outsourcing is contracting an external personnel, contracting an external organization. Now there's a law called the TUPE, TUPE. Can you see my screen?
Sure.
I'm changing this TUPE to red so you can catch it immediately.
Sure.
All right, can you see it? It has just changed to red.
Sure. Yeah.
So the full meaning is transfer of undertaking, protection of employment. Transfer of undertaking, protection of employment. This is an exam question for you. What does it mean? It means, peradventure, you run an organization and you have personnel working with and for you, and you want to outsource that which they were doing for you to another organization. You must consider those that were working for you. Because sometimes when you outsource that aspect of the service or the product to an external organization, they seem to want to continue with their own people, forgetting the people that were working for the previous organization. And they will be stranded, they would be jobless. And sometimes if they do absorb them, they start by cutting down their pay. So this TUPE law is a protection for outsourced product and service for those that were working for the organization. This law protects their benefits. It protects their job. Is it clear?
Yeah. It's very clear.
Beautiful. Now let's take a look at the next one, strategic alliance relationship. Can you see alliance? Alliance is a powerful word. Strategic is another powerful word. The relationship is getting better now.
Yeah. Yes.
So this type of relationship explains a situation where we have maybe two suppliers coming together, or a supplier and a buyer coming together to deliver a joint product, or maybe to carry out service together. Or they are coming in to design a new product which they can use in capturing a huge chunk of the market share. So you as a buyer, certain times you would be required to go into strategic alliance with your suppliers, where we should go and tell them, this product that I want to acquire from you, I want to sell it in the market, but now let's come together. Come in with your engineers. Let me come in with my engineers too. Let's make the design, let's make the design market appealing. And then we will share benefits also together. The next one is the partnership relationship. This relationship is equal in terms of the balance of power. You and your supplier, or the two suppliers, they have balance of power. They have understanding of the needs and they are willing to work together. They are looking at a collective benefit rather than individual gain. Can you see it's far, far away from the adversarial relationship? It's far, far away from the arm's length relationship. It's far, far away from the transactional relationship.
Yeah.
So you watch out for individual benefits. And number 9 is the co-destiny. Co-destiny is the crowning aspect of it, where you see your successes as the successes of the supplier. Everything you own, they own. Your losses are their losses. Your gain are their pain. Your gain are their gain. Your pain are their pains. Do you see that? That is co-destiny.
Yes.
You have something more powerful than a strategic relationship. You share personnel, you share idea, you share pool of resources, you share everything. And in this, you have all your secrets open to the other party. If this is what you're looking at for in a relationship, you know it has to be a win-win, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah. So that is that. This brings us to where are we now? All right. Okay, since today is our very first day, should we call it a day now?
Yes.
It's so much today, right? So tomorrow we can start
Yes.
we'll start with the relationship life cycle.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Where are we? Let me stop the recording.